Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to episode number 28 of Playing with House Money on the Toilets to Titles Network. I am Ice. You can find me on Twitter at Iceman_1013. And this right here is my boy DJ Pru at PruBaby10. How you doing today, my guy?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. How you doing?
Yeah, happy to be alive. I'm sick. I'm getting the kid's been ill.
Yeah.
She's definitely giving it to me, so I can feel it coming. Like this weekend's going to be a struggle, but yeah, plenty of hydration, and I'll be good. But yeah, glad to be here. Some interesting games to look forward to this weekend as well.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely that time of year as well. So, keep the hydration up. I don't know, take a couple shots. You never know.
Yeah, took a couple today. The old health, the immune ginger and whatnot, turmeric, lovely stuff. I'd rather do some of this stuff.
I was gonna say, yeah, it wasn't really what I had in mind, but
crack open the Patron.
Yes, sir. Yeah, tequila that'll get you good right there.
That's true. We do in future years. We can put a segment. I know we kind of talked about this. We should have a late night segment where we have a few beverages and bets. Bevs and bets.
I don't know. It might just turn out to be me screaming about the Bears and the previous bets. Yeah, you never know. Hey, don't careful what you wish for.
And the teams teams and players that screwed us over, which is funnily enough what we were just talking about before we hit record.
Yeah, we'll do it. Late night beverage and berates.
Anyway, what have we have to go through a couple of these. It wasn't our best weekend. Yeah. Let's be honest, we know that, but Thursday night football last week kind of surprised everyone.
Yeah, that
was a little bit, all over the show. Bailey Zappe came out and balled out
right out of the gates. Just came out
balling. Literally, yeah.
And then just nothing. It was weird. Yeah. It was like he just fell off a cliff the second half. But yeah, it was a weird game. It was a weird weekend, to say the least. But yeah, it was funny, man. Mitch Trubisky with the rushing touchdown. I can't believe I didn't take it, to be honest with you. As soon as I saw him do it, I was mad I didn't, because I definitely mentioned it. I definitely mentioned doing it, and then I didn't. But yeah, it was a weird weekend, to say the least. But we did have a couple straights that saved us, and a very good anytime touchdown dart ended up being the helm of that. So that was pretty cool.
That was Monday night football. Malik Heath, I posted in the Toilets to Titles Patreon chat, plus 750 to get his first touchdown. Hey, I mean, if you'd have waited until halftime, halfway through the second, third quarter or something, and gone, actually, the way this game's going, maybe I'll take you'd have got him at plus 2,500 probably.
Oh yeah, easy. And I mean, we had a couple easy ones in there, in the weekend too, that we kind of foreseen. It was, Saquon over 77, which, don't get me wrong, took a while to get there. Took a long while to get there.
And then it was he catched it on the fumble, I think.
Yeah,
like a 35-yard run, and then fumbled it, but we get the yards, which was, nice, a nice touch.
Yeah, that, and then Raheem Mostert was a good one. Rushing, I mean, you over on his rushing, and then obviously the touchdowns, the pair of touchdowns obviously help gamblers everywhere. And there was a lot of weird games the way that they played out, but a lot of the stuff, like, we were kind of able to foresee, especially going back to that Thursday game. A lot of people were on Zeke for essentially everything. Rushing, receiving, he had a great game. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of straight bets that definitely saved the weekend. It was just the parlays were kind of all over the place with some injuries. Like Tavian Wicks got hurt at like 20 yards. He had 20 yards early. Tyreek obviously kind of screwed a lot, kind of the whole football community. It seemed it was like weird that he got hurt, ran off like he was fine, and then didn't come back until, halfway through the third in the second half. It's kind of weird, when you don't see a guy come out for the second half like right away, you kind of expect him not to, and then that was weird. It was a very weird situation, but
kind of seemed like they were saying, "Hey, we don't need you. Like, don't risk it. Like, we're good." And then when the Titans didn't just roll over, it was like, "Oh, hey, like, He was like, "Coach, let me get back in there," and you can see the offense just totally different with him on the field.
Oh yeah. When you can't guard him and the spacing that he gives you. But then it was just funny because it was like after Levis threw the pick six that just made absolutely no sense to anybody. You really thought it was going to get out of hand. And then next thing you know, it's 10-13 or something like that at one point, and you're like, what is going on? So it was all around very weird weekend. We are getting to those nitty-gritty later weeks in the season. So I mean, I guess we shouldn't really put too much past a lot of these teams, but definitely wasn't how we expected it to play out on a lot of them. But some of the calls were, spot on.
I mean, I was pretty like my Sunday fourfold was not far off. I had the Ravens won in overtime, won by 6, and their spread was 7.5, so missed it by a couple. The Tampa Bay, I said I took the plus 2.5. I said that I love their money line and you should play it straight at plus money. And spoiler alert, I'm going to play the same thing this weekend. The Colts and the Bengals, we had that to go over, and that hit 48 points. That went over, and then missed by 3 points in the Detroit-Chicago game. So I was 5 points total. 3 points in the Detroit-Chicago game and 2 extra Baltimore Ravens points from the 12 plus 12.50 from Sunday. So it's that part was pretty close. It missed by 2. Ultimately, we hit 2 out of 4, or I hit 2 out of 4 on that, but it was looking kind of alive and well at some point. Halfway through those games, there was definitely a chance for it. But yeah, like you say, just one of those games where still lots of injuries. That they keep on coming. We're at that time now. Fantasy playoffs for most people begin this weekend, and there's a huge amount of teams going into the fantasy playoffs with rookie QBs or second, third string QBs. We've got a bunch of changes again this week. I know tonight's game we're going to see. Justin Herbert's now out for the season, so we've got the Chargers against the Raiders tonight. And we get Easton Stick getting his first start. So against Aidan O'Connell.
I was going to say against Aidan O'Connell. So that's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a fun one to say the least. So I mean, you got injuries everywhere, and it's obviously a lot harder when it's mid-game, when they're, some of these teams' best players and whatnot. But I like our spots.
Yeah. I know you joined our boy Nino last week to talk some college ball and Florida State. You were able to get all that off your chest. But what is there anything this weekend? It's the couple of bowl games that start this weekend, right? Anything that takes your fancy there?
No, not anybody that I would put my money on, at least. I mean, you got like Appalachian State playing, and like Texas Tech has a game, but nothing that I would feel responsible putting my money on, even though, I might ponder it, depending on what I see. But as far as, to tell the people to look out for anything, no. This week is kind of like your preliminary start. There will be a lot of games. There won't be a lot of games that people will watch on TV unless you're like fans of these schools. But it's definitely one of those weeks where it's like a lot better to watch without any money on. I guess that'd be my best thing. Like, you don't want to go put your money on Georgia Southern and you won't get props for a lot of these teams as much as you would like the big ones. I'm sure you'll get. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm assuming these sports books are going to take advantage of there not being many big teams. You know what I mean, and trying to give you as much as they can. But as far as like anything that I would tell the people to go and put their money on, no, I would just enjoy watching college football for what it is, and live to see another day on that. Keep it for the NFL.
Yeah, so this is the thing that I love about this time of year. This is where we get the Dunkin' Donuts Bowl, the Peeps Marshmallow Bowl.
Yep.
Like whoever the hell wants to pay us money to call a bowl their bowl is
the Wendy's
these are the
Frosty
games
Bowl.
we get.
Yeah, you'll get the Wendy's Frosty Bowl, the Taco Bell 2 a.m. Bowl. It's not this is one of those that like they've watered down bowl season for. If you win 6 games, you're getting a bowl. It's like, hey, I don't want to bet money on it, so I'm not going to, but there will be things that you can. And if you do want to, if you want, to get pointed in the right direction, you could definitely hit me up. I'll give you my 2 cents on a couple of the games and see if we can make something happen.
So this is the ultimate kind of participation. Like you participated this year, you won 50% of your games, you came, 6th, but you can get into a final kind of deal.
Which, whatever college football has told us now, I mean, it doesn't really matter what you do in the regular season, So you guys can go and find that on College Football Nation about my 2 cents on Florida State and that college committee decision. And now that they're getting their asses sued, I just I guess we'll see how these 6 games play out. It's a popularity contest though, so don't put your money on Georgia Southern in the toilet bowl. It's just not worth it.
All right, so back to this All-Star MVP QB matchup we have tonight. The problem we also have is that we recorded this on Wednesday, and late Wednesday afternoon, the Chargers also ruled out Keenan Allen.
Mm-hmm.
So not only have you got the kid at quarterback, you're also down your 2 primary wide receivers.
Yep.
And a lot of the props have literally only been up for an hour or so. But what is there anything in your you also have the potential that I know that you're looking at Josh Jacobs rushing, and I absolutely agree that whether Jacobs plays or not, if he doesn't, I would absolutely say to take Zamir White's rushing line, like whichever running back it is that is going to start. If it is Josh Jacobs, then absolutely. But I know that as of Wednesday evening, he was still questionable.
Yeah.
But why don't you touch?
You can take both quarterbacks for 300 rushing or 300 passing yards because you're just going to see them light it up.
Yep.
Don't actually do that. I'm being fully sarcastic, everyone. I like any of I like any Raiders running back that starts. They can line me up back there, and I'm gonna take that over rushing line. Mm-hmm. I do like if I would assume the chemistry of one quarterback that has been starting for weeks now, and obviously the other quarterback that is not, you're going to have a little bit of an upside with the amount of series they'll get, the comfortability. I do like Tay Adams to score. It is only at plus 165, but I do like anytime. Obviously, he has a very good relationship with Jacoby Myers. So, I mean, you could really take any rendition of the two, and I would be okay. But, this is one of those games where you have to hammer the running back, especially for the Raiders. I don't know what to expect from the Chargers run game anymore, especially now. It struggles with Herbert. It's just bad. They're not getting any traction on the ground. And then obviously, if you don't get Austin Eckler going in the pass game, which I would probably ponder like the reception line for him. It's probably going to be like 2.5, 3.5, maybe. 3.5 would kind of be a little bit of a stretch, but I do like the 2.5 for a couple screen dump offs.
He's 4.5 at plus money on FanDuel.
Yeah, 5 catches is a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot. That's a little too much for me. I won't lie to you. That's a little too much for me. But it is very possible with this quarterback situation.
He went. Eckler went 5 of 7, 5 receptions on 7 targets last Sunday against Denver, and Easton Stick played more than half the game. So it's fun. Like that's what I looked at as well. Like Quentin Johnson went for 91 yards last week with Keenan Allen out. That's he was who I was looking at. His receiving yards line is 24.5.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, that's what one catch.
Yeah, that's low enough for me to like it. I'm not a believer in the kid yet. He's
obviously, he's got a lot to prove, but at this point, like you said, if they're not, there's going to be a lot of check downs to Gerald Everett if he plays, or whoever's going to be the tight end, and Austin Eckler, and probably
you'll probably see both tight ends.
Kelly,
you'll see a lot of 2 tight ends, I'm assuming.
But I would imagine that Palmer and Johnston are going to at some point have to try and stretch the field. At some point, you would, again, the way the game's going to play out.
Yeah,
you would assume. And I did like the one I did find, because there was, when I was looking this afternoon, there was absolutely no props, was longest pass. Easton Stick's longest pass to be over 31.5 yards.
Yeah, I saw that one.
I mean, I don't think that's too terrible. Again, all he's got to do is make one pass of 35 yards, which he's capable of doing. He did that on Sunday against the Broncos defense. Oh, again, yards after. If he's going to drop the ball off to Austin Eckler can go for 40 yards.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, I like that. I did see that prop. That's definitely something that's worth a dart.
Yeah. And then I think you mentioned Jacoby Myers. I mentioned him on Monday Night Football when they played months ago.
Yep.
And he cashed his receptions line then. And every time I look at their games, if they score first, it's him. So, I mean, I looked today, plus 1,300.
Yeah.
It was December 13th when I was looking at it. My number 13. I was like, okay, we'll take Jacoby Myers' first touchdown.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. My thing is like I feel like I'm scared of doing that now with these games, because like we see games with no touchdowns these days, and it just blows my mind. But this is one of those matchups where it's like it's hilarious on paper, and then you see it. It's like what we thought about last Thursday. Everybody's like, "Oh, it's going under 30," and what did I tell you?
Yeah,
what did I tell you? It's one of those games where your jaw drops a few times, where you're like, "What the hell is going on?" And I could very easily see something like that happening, especially because, I mean, what do these teams have to lose?
Yeah, I was just about to say, this Easton Stick has absolutely nothing to lose but everything to gain by going out there and balling out. And why not try it? Like,
I would have said the same thing about Tommy DeVito, and
exactly,
kid is balling. So
yeah,
you can't count anybody out in the league, and especially with some of these guys, they got a lot of heart. They play fearless. So yeah, I think especially that Quentin Johnson line, that's worth a hammer, to be honest with you. I ain't gonna lie. I hate to say that. That is worth a hammer. 24, that's worth a hammer bet for real. But yeah, I could see Jacoby definitely doing it. Him and O'Connell have very good chemistry, and he seems to really like hitting him, especially over the middle. So yeah, I'm not mad at that plus 1,300 at all.
And then we have Saturday football. We have Saturday NFL. Not just no college football for you this week that you're going to go on, but we have 3 games on Saturday.
Yeah, and when I saw this the other day, I was confused as to like why. This might be one of those weeks that like kind of just go in the back of my memory bank of like maybe this is common. But yeah, Saturday, Sunday football, man. Hey, I'm not complaining. I'll take it all day.
Yep. So yeah, we have a midday Central Time kickoff. Minnesota Vikings at Cincinnati Bengals, and of the 3, I kind of quite like this game from a betting perspective. You do have again, as we said, is going to be a running theme. Kind of, you've got Nick Mullen starting at quarterback for the Vikings. Josh Dobbs has been benched. So yeah, after that 3-0 victory over the Raiders.
I mean, you get 4 turnovers the week before, and then that outing
10 of 23 for 63 yards. Yeah,
they could have put me out there.
Mullen came in and went 9 of 13, and
he's started before. A lot of people will forget that Nick Mullins has played plenty of NFL games, and some of them were in San Francisco. So it's definitely an upside, and anybody that follows football knows exactly who you're going with in that game on that team, because Mullins loves his tight ends.
Yes, and that was exactly what I was going to say. It was either the year, 2020, when he was in San Francisco. 12 touchdowns, 12 interceptions was his. He played, I don't know how many games he played. That's 10 games that season for San Francisco. And yeah, like you said, I think it must have still been Kittle back then, but Kittle in that playoff run was huge. So, TJ Hawkinson is at plus 230 anytime touchdown, which I think is pretty big.
Yeah.
And his reception line is at 5.5. So given what you said, like, you've seen TJ Hawkinson have 10 reception games this season anyway. I feel like this guy is a target magnet in that offense, even with Justin Jefferson back again.
Yeah, and have they said that he's going to play again? I know that chest injury.
He said that he's going to play. Whether
sideline, I like it.
Yeah.
Hey, go out there and ball. Mick Mullins, obviously, he made George Kittle a very big key piece in that run for him. But then also Hawk's pretty due, and also he's just a matchup nightmare. I do like Ty Chandler in that game as well, with Madison out, and he gives them a little bit of versatility on the run and the pass. But then you obviously, you are taking the risk of them not being able to get drives going. But I do think Nick Mullins is going to go out there and play with a lot of poise. He's been in this system a little while now. It was kind of weird that they kind of went and got Dobbs, put him in right away. And then obviously, as the games played on, they kind of had to keep him in. But I do expect Mullins. I don't really think it'll miss too much of a beat. And I think he does deserve this shot after Dobbs' last couple of weeks. So I'm excited to see how that goes. But yeah, I'm all over Hawk, just like everybody else will be.
Yeah. And on the other side, you've got Jake Browning, who has also kind of come in and, last couple of weeks, he's thrown 350, 275 yards against the Jaguars defense, the Colts defense. They're not the worst defenses in the league. So, hey, this could be one of those. I think this could be a very back and forth, quite an open kind of game.
Yeah, hell yeah. People forget, man, Jake Browning was in the Heisman race in his college career. He didn't have a scrub college career whatsoever out at Washington. So now that he's getting his feet wet and really acclimated to the game, especially after a few years of being the backup and kind of earning his stripes, I think it's really going to be one of those games where he very well could shine again. You have 300 passing yards, and then you get in a groove, man. You never really know. So yeah, I don't hate the thought of them going back and forth. It's the thing is who's going to do it for them.
Yeah.
Is Chase going to break the big one? If he doesn't break a big one, he's kind of been non-existent in these games. But
hey, Jake Browning's back-to-back games with rushing touchdowns himself as well.
Hey, and I called the first one. So
yeah,
I'm all over that.
So yeah, I think this game has the potential to be a good one. And then we have the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Indianapolis Colts. Could be everything, could be absolutely nothing. I'm not a fan of much in that game, to be perfectly honest with you.
Shouldn't be.
And then to round it off, 7:15 East Central Time, we have the Denver Broncos at the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, now this one is going to be intriguing to me. because Denver's defense has just been lights out. You have Monty out. Amon-Ra St. Brown obviously is probably a little salty about his week last week. Bear down. I do expect a bounce back game from him, but he is going to see, he's going to see a good back four. I think Gibbs is going to be just a matchup nightmare for anybody if he's getting that sort of volume. But I do think they'll kind of force Amon-Ra St. Brown into their game plan just to keep it going. So I do really love. I think his line was only at 68.5. We've seen him up at 82, 85. I think I played him at 87.5 a few weeks ago. It's just he's lightning in a bottle, and he's obviously one of the stars on that team. I do expect that 68.5 to have legs. And then I haven't really went through Gibbs's lines all together yet, but I'm sure you have. So I'll
he's at 50.5 on the rushing line right now and 26.5 on the receiving, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
I love both of those a lot, actually.
Yeah. So I went for the rushing and him for a touchdown. He's minus 115 for a TD. But I do like the Hawkinson and Gibbs, parlay them together for a TD. Probably with both, the receptions for Hawk and the rushing line for Gibbs to give that some juice. But
I wouldn't be mad at that at all. 50.5, man. That's.
It's because they've still got they do have Montgomery in. They've got Montgomery's lines there. Yeah. So
I swore he was ruled out like early in the week, though.
Nothing.
Yeah, maybe they're still pondering it. I don't think he'll get much volume even if he does play. He was getting really banged up last week.
Yeah, but he went only 10 attempts last week, as opposed to the Gibbs who ended up going. Well, I mean Gibbs only did 11 because they were behind. Obviously, they were kind of struggling in that game.
Oh, they were facing the second best rush defense in the league, baby. You didn't know? You didn't know? Yeah. Yeah, and, shout out to Foos for that turnover. Holy hell. 11 takeaways.
I think
11 takeaways in 3 weeks. So we'll give Detroit the benefit of the doubt. They also have Jared Goff at quarterback, who is he is crumbling, it seems. So we'll see.
Yeah. And then Sunday. Full go on Sunday.
Yeah.
Obviously we're through.
Man, Sunday is weird for me. Like a lot of these matchups are weird for me because of what we've seen. Like what we've seen the last few weeks. I ain't gonna lie to you. I need to stop doubting some of these teams or like some of these players a little bit, less than I have been. I know I'm going to regret saying this. I like Bears +3. I like the Bears +3.
The thing about this that people don't know is that I'm looking at the 4 things that you were just about to say, and I was like, which one? He could say any of these 4, and I would agree with the way you've just introduced it.
Yeah. The other teams, I don't care if I jinx, to be honest with you.
No, but
I do believe that this is how this is going to go. Don't get me wrong. But Bears +3, I just feel like every time I go out on a limb with this team, they embarrass me. Heavy on the embarrass part. It just, we're in a must. They're in a must win. I guess it's not really technically a must win, even though they have like a 1% chance of the playoffs now. I don't expect them to make it, but obviously you have Fields playing for his job. You have like half the city doubting him even being here next year. I just think there's a lot of pride on this last 4 games. And they've been playing well, man. Their defense has been playing really well. So I do like that +3. Obviously, I almost went money line, but I've done that before, and I won't do that. I won't be doing that one. I'm confident, but I ain't that confident. And then one that I have not went with all year. I don't think I've taken this team all year, and that's the Jets +8.5. Now, I'm only doing that because of the defense. I will go out and I will go out and say this right now. I'm only doing that because of the defense. And every game they've been in has been a dogfight. I don't expect to see Zach Wilson throw for 300 yards. Okay. I saw last week, and honestly, I felt happy for the kid. I was honestly completely shocked at the same time. Like, kid has nothing to lose. He put him on the table and let him hang. Good for him. I like the Jets plus 8.5. I just feel like that's a big spread for the NFL, especially lately. And then I say that, and then I'm gonna go Kansas City minus 7.5. Why? After your boy's tantrum, he had better come out and make a statement. And I know that you did not enjoy that tantrum at all. I know that left a bad taste in your mouth. One, because you're 3 yards offsides, bro. It is what it is. You know what I mean? I get it. But I do think that that's going to be one of those, like, you're going to see Patrick Mahomes literally say, fuck you guys. Like, he might hang 40 this weekend, to be honest with you. As long as his receivers don't drop 6 touchdowns, he might hang 40 this week.
I feel like this is one of those where Travis Kelce gets 12 receptions for 150 yards.
He's going to get 22 targets, 17 catches for like 250 and 3 scores. It's going to be insane.
Yeah.
And you might see Patrick Mahomes literally just throw a touchdown and just stare into the screen like, yeah. I mean, and honestly, league might be fucked because of this. Like, he might go full on like Mamba MJ game 6. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm a little scared for the league. Minus 7.5. I do love it just because it's going to be a statement. I think it's going to be one of those where it's like, it's time to stop messing around.
I mean, it has to be at this point now. The way they've played over the last few games for them. Like, it has to be because, all right, you could say what you want about the fact that it was an incredible play from Travis Kelce and everything like that. And it would have been, but you can't just go, hey, well, we're going to ignore that flag.
Yeah.
And the fact that Tony was 3 yards offside because it was such a great play. Unfortunately, that doesn't negate the rules of the game.
Yeah, it reminded me of like a really cool ass flag football play. It was so natural for him to just turn around and throw it. Like, that's something. Shout out to my buddy Derek. He would do something like that in our flag football league. Like, it would just be one of those where I know Kadarius Toney was not expecting that ball, and it was just a natural fluid, and it was amazing play. Don't get me wrong. I was kind of hoping it stood just because it was that cool of a play, but at the same time, you see the replay, you're like,
It's not even close.
Not even close.
And I get the whole, you're in the moment, you're really frustrated and everything like that. But yeah, I mean, at a point, you have to look at that and you have to turn around and go, yeah, we shouldn't have, we shouldn't have acted like that. Because again, now you've got, I mean,
not even that. We've seen Kansas City on the other end of those calls so many times.
Yeah,
so many times. So it's like, dude, come on, man. He goes up to Josh Allen. I was so hoping Josh Allen told him to fuck off at the end of that game.
Mm-hmm.
It's the wildest call I've ever seen. I'd have been like, Josh Allen. I know Josh Allen was like, is this guy serious?
Yeah.
So it's like, they obviously did. Yeah, heat of the moment. His emotions were running high. It happens. Preaching to the choir here. If anything, ball of fire. So I definitely understand. But I think this is definitely fuel for him.
Yeah.
The media was not kind to him right after that either. So this is definitely going to be one of those games. And then hottest team in football right now might be the Dallas Cowboys. And they're +2. They are +2 in this game. So I doubted them last week. I'm not going to doubt them this week. I'm not even going to talk about last week's game because that was just I thought Philly was going to react a little differently to getting punched in the mouth, and then they got punched in the mouth. So maybe they're just getting bullied right now. Mm-hmm. They're going to need a lot. So Dallas +2. So we got Bears +3, Jets +8.5, Kansas City -7.5, Dallas +2. Those 4 are +1270. And you parlay the 4 of them.
Interesting. Well, I said earlier we have, and you said you didn't like the early slate, and I've basically picked 4 games on the early slate. Tampa Bay at Green Bay. We saw Green Bay get beat by the Giants. We saw Tampa Bay, Tommy DeVito. And hey, I'm picking the Giants against the Saints as well for that reason.
I do not blame you. I was going to until I saw it on there.
I mean, we've got, I debated, you can take the Bucks at +3.5. Love the fact that they're +3.5 in this game against Green Bay. I just, again, I've mentioned this so many times. I just feel like they're consistently, the books just, I don't know, just consistently doubt that they're going to do the same thing again. They must be like, oh, it's Baker Mayfield. He's gonna Baker Mayfield at some point.
Yeah,
and he keeps kind of pulling it out. And yeah, they're +154 on the money line, so I do love that money line again this week. And then the Giants at the Saints. The Saints team are not doing much. Alvin Kamara could go for 3 touchdowns against the Giants again, but they need that. They're going to need that if they're going to win. And the Giants are +6. I just think the Giants have, Tommy DeVito's come in and they found something this last couple of games where, hey, like a +6 against this Saints team. Like, I don't think the Saints are -275 against anyone in this league on the money line.
-275?
I'm not taking that money line on the Saints against any team in this league.
You could put Derek Carr on any team in the NFL, and I'm not taking him at -275.
Yeah. So Bucks and the Giants, and then the Falcons. So 3 away teams here. The Falcons going into Carolina. They're -168. They're -3 on the spread, but at -168, I'd rather take the money line. Don't get too much juice for the -3 at -115. Again, I just think Bryce Young and this Carolina team, they're reliant on Chubba Hubbard. And if your team's relying on Big Chubba, then hey, I've got him in my fantasy team, but that's just volume, purely for volume.
Bryce had
right
one
now.
completion. Bryce had one completion and a half last week.
Yeah,
kid is getting destroyed out there. So
I've got those 3, and then the other one is kind of, which now goes completely against what you've said, which was the Dolphins -8.5. But that is purely if Tyreek plays.
I like it even if he doesn't. I think Mike McDaniel is one of those coaches where it's like, he's an evil genius. Like
for a similar wet thing that you've said, right? Like you could I might actually just take these 4 money lines. Bucks, Giants, Falcons, Dolphins money line plays. Those 4 money lines are +1523.
Oh yeah. I love that.
I think the Dolphins, there is a potential here. I completely see your argument for the Jets defense. And if Tyreek doesn't play, I think that the Jets cover that very easily. But there is also the same point for the Dolphins, similar point to what you said about Kansas City, which is they just got humbled by the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
So, when you're talking about this being your year, and you're going to go out there and you're going to be contenders, you're going to win the Super Bowl, and you lose a game like that, you've got to come back and you've got to step up the next week and prove a point. So, I mean, they're -430 on the money line, but like you said, they're -8.5 on the spread, and it's a big spread against the Jets defense that is stepping up week in, week out. So those four teams on the money line. You can take the Giants at +6. They're the biggest one. They're +225 on the money line. So you can take them out and put them at +6. That drops you to +850. I still don't mind that.
Yeah, no.
At all. But that's the 4 I'm going with. this weekend. Well, this Sunday. But yeah, lots of football. There'll be lots of bets, I'm sure, coming out. In the Discord. Tonight we'll have some in the Playing with House Money chat on the Toilets to Titles Gilded channel. If you want to jump in the Gilded, then hit us up. Hit up Coach or Justin. They'll get you in. I know you tweeted out a link to the Gilded last weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah, get in there. We'll have some Patreon Monday Night Football best bets again. Like you said, we cashed a couple this week. But yeah, the Discord, Playing with House Money. We're into that point now where it's PWHmas. It's the 12 days of Christmas have begun. I feel like we're gonna talk about this, but we're definitely gonna do something for people on Twitter and whatnot to try and get them in the Discord.
Okay, I like that. That's news to me too, people. Let's get it. Okay, I like that.
Yeah, I literally thought about it right before we came on air. I was like, I have no idea what it's going to be, but there's enough sport on over Christmas that we can find a free bet every single day.
Oh yeah. And just wait until I get my coquito delivery. I'm gonna be ready. I'm gonna be nice and sauced over the holiday. We're gonna be, hey, let's cash some bets. I like it. Yeah, let's do it.
But yeah. All right, bro. Everyone, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Shoot us any questions on Twitter at PW_housemoney. Hit up DJ Pru at PruBaby10. If you have any questions about the college football slate on Saturday or anything related to the NFL on Saturday or Sunday, and we'll see you next week. We'll be back playing with more house money.
Yes, sir.